Hey, how's it going everyone? Kritigri here, and for those of you who do not know, WoW Housing Early Access just came out today. If you've pre-ordered the Midnight expansion, you have full access to housing. If you have not pre-ordered it, you can still go around and start collecting furniture and visiting your friends and all that good stuff. And today I want to show you kind of like my day one efforts, although I will probably keep playing after I record this. It's getting late and I'm not going to be able to record if it gets too late. And yeah, so I'm going to show you my main house first because this is my main character. I do play Alliance. I'm in my guild neighborhood. And, you know, like I said, this is still day one. So I'm not the most talented decorator designer out there. I keep seeing what people have made and gone, ah, man. But here's what I've got. So this is my house. First of all, I've chosen this plot here, kind of in the Westfall-ish area, or the Westfall-looking area, because I love autumn. I love the autumnal vibes here, and I was very tempted to go pick the spot over here, where it's all spooky. You can't really see it, but it's over there. Take my word for it. But I feel like as much as I love a spooky environment, it would probably get old after a while. And there weren't really any night elven environments. Like, there's a moonwell over there, but, like, you can't really build next to it, and it's kind of the only night elf thing there. So anyway, I decided to settle down here. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you what plot it is. It's plot 36. And first of all, I really wanted to make a full stone fence. You can get these from the Gilnean vendor back in Darnassus, which is a little bit awkward since that place burned down. But obviously, we can go back in time, and I guess get some stone fences from that guy, but they're both quite expensive gold-wise and budget-wise, because for those of you who don't know, like with a lot of kind of house decorating games or games within games, there's a budget, right, of what you're allowed to do. And one of the criticisms I would say for the World of Warcraft iteration is that the exterior budget is pretty sparse, and we'll get into like how that's manifested in a minute and like the difficulties with it. But these take up like 5 each, I believe, in the budget, as opposed to normal fences which take up 1 each. So I decided to see if I could use like normal fence posts after the little bit of stone brick wall, and I actually quite like the effect. It might look a little weird, but I quite like it. I mean, maybe I should have used these going down the path instead of then used fence outside. Might have been a better, but whatever, we've done it now. And then also what's going to take up a lot of budget is these little stone things. Some of them are in like a pair, like these two, and then some of them you place like individually. But yeah, I made a little stone path up to my house here. And then, so yeah, I've got these hedges. They're not all that pretty or varied. I might swap them out at some point, but for now I wanted to have something to kind of like flank the kind of like path up to the main house. And I suppose, yeah, we've got this fountain here, which I stuck a moonwell lantern thing on top of, which I think is quite a nice effect. I think you get this from the druid class order hall, by the way. So there's that. And then I've got this gazebo, which I've made pretty big. And one of the ways in which you might notice, like, I wasn't able to extend a fence all the way around my plot due to the decor limits. One of the ways I kind of like made it look smooth instead of just cutting off abruptly was have this lead into this gazebo. I am probably going to put some like seating stuff in this gazebo, but for now it's just a, you know, if you want you can slash lean in here and it'll look nice. But yeah, that's kind of all that's going on around here. I also got this runestone looking thing from the druid class order hall as well, which is pretty nice. And then over here we've got something I really like. So firstly, there's this Stormwind trellis. I think you get this from the Stormwind vendor. It's not very Stormwindy, but that is where you get it, if I remember right. But then, what I originally had was this trellis here, or these 2 trellises here, and I didn't really know what to do with them. And then I realised this was a lovely little spot for an outside nook. And this is probably my favourite thing I've made. It's adorable. I love it. The idea of just being able to sit outside here in like, you get like the warm breeze and stuff. And at one point this didn't exist, right? This Coltirian little hanging over awning thing, it started to rain and I realized, oh no, my furniture's gonna get wet, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. And I kind of did it as a joke to begin with, but I've kind of left it there because I was able to make it hang across pretty effectively. Like, I had to, like, you know, mess with the size and stuff. But it does cover the sofas pretty perfectly. We're just going to pretend that wind isn't a factor. Wind is not going to blow rain onto these sofas. It doesn't exist. Have you ever seen wind in World of Warcraft? I didn't think so. Then we've got like this Kultiran bell, just because... I guess what I would say a lot of this is like knackage of like, it's not really here for any specific reason, but it does give it a bit more character. I've got some barrels and a chest outside, and I've got a coffin propped up against the back of my house. Don't ask too many questions about that. And then I've got this, which, you know, I guess it's kind of weird. It's like, what, am I selling? Am I selling grain and fruit and stuff? Well, why not? Why not? Maybe it's my side hustle, I don't know. Oh, the music just kicked in. And I've got some leaves here as well. Hope you like my leaves. But yeah, I really like the outside of this house. Oh, and this here as well is actually the thing in the Druid class order where you right click on to change your artifact appearance. I've got one of them out here. I've got one of them inside as well. But yeah, I've also got a bench here because I just like this view. And I haven't really been able to figure out what size to make the bench because for whatever reason it's really big in its default size. So I still need to mess with the scaling to make it an appropriate size so I'm not clipping through it. But yeah, I do really like this view here. It's one of the reasons I chose this plot. And there's my neighbor over there, by the way. Hello. We've been visiting each other and watching each other's housing progress. It's been fun. Actually, I will say that is one of my favorite things about housing. It's just how many organic, like, conversations I've had with people and, like, meeting up with them and seeing what they're up to and stuff. It's the most social I've been in WoW in a very long time. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why. But yeah, also I was going to mention... Oh yeah, probably one of the reasons why they wanted to do this. I should finish my thought. But you may also notice that we've got slightly different coloured rocks coming off this way. That's because these are actually lines of rocks, which is why they're not quite so smooth. But they only take up one in the decor budget, which is how I'm able to have all of these like stepping stones going all the way around here. And when I talk about reaching the decor limit a little early, this is kind of what I mean. It's a little bit... It's a little less interesting out this way for sure. But the last thing I've got to show you in the outdoor region is I've got this Stormwind cart, and look, everyone's gonna have an Onyxia's head hanging over their fireplace, right? They kept showing it in all of the trailers. You know, I wanted to do something a little bit different with my Onyxia's head, so I just ordered my Onyxia's head off Amazon, and she's just arrived in this cart. I've yet to really figure out what to do with her, but she's just kind of lolling about in the back here. So it came from one seller, L. Jenkins. He seemed to have a pretty negative review record, but, you know... It came all right, didn't it? It came all right. I should probably leave him a positive review. Anyway, that's... pretty much the exterior of my... Oh, we haven't actually talked about the house itself. There aren't really too many housing options for the Alliance right now, or the Horde really. And so, you know, I can't really make it a Night Elf looking house just yet. That's not released yet. I think that's going to be coming out with Midnight's 12.0 launch or the pre-patch. And until then, I've made this house, I've used pretty much like the squarish looking parts. I've turned the roof purple, and we've got this little squarish looking thing up here. It's not crazy, but I think it's pretty Night Elf coded as far as Night Elf coded as we really can be. But anyway, let's go inside the house. And honestly, for both of these houses, I should mention, I think I've spent more time on the exterior and I'm more proud of the exterior. But I've also spent a decent bit of time on my initial room here in the interior. Okay, so first of all, we have the porch area where I've hung a little amethyst crystal. A lot of this stuff, by the way, will have been given to me from achievements from stuff I did long ago, so I can't tell you where I got everything, I'm afraid. But I've got this little Draenei coated crystal here, as well as this little Draenei coated like stained glass window thing here, which I thought would work pretty well in the porch area. Well, nowhere else really, so I might as well put it in the porch area. And then over here I've got like a little backpack, as in like, you know, maybe I just sling it here when I get in after my travels, and then I pick it up and I take it with me on my way out. It's a porch thing. And then here's another Druid Order Hall item. This is going to be a guest sign-in book, although unlike Final Fantasy XIV, sadly, you cannot actually sign yourself in and out. Hopefully they add that in the future at some point. But I really like the lectern. I think this is one of my favourite individual housing furnishing items to date, and I've got a few more of these as well. So, yeah, that's the porch. And then this is the rest. This is kind of like... kind of like an entrance room slash gathering room. Like it's kind of like an open area for people to gather and relax and hang out. And we've got kind of like 3 main corners or areas, I suppose. We've got the bar area over here, which I still need to find like some bottlage for. Bottlage is a word now, I've decided. But yeah, we've got functional bar seats. I had to like resize these and rotate them correctly, so that's why I'm sitting on all of them. I want you to know, damn it, I spent effort on that. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, I've got like these kind of lights as well, which came from the Druid Order Hall as well. Anyway, there is like a bar item. I actually ended up putting that over here, and I'm probably going to do something different with it, because that doesn't scream back of a bar item to me, even though it's clearly like got slots for like drinks and stuff. But anyway, I decided to make it a little bit more homegrown, I suppose, and I've got like a keg here and you know. Some people might think this is interesting because I don't drink in real life, but you know, this is a fantasy game and it's part of a fantasy aesthetic, and even if I don't drink, maybe the people who visit would like to, so that's why I have accommodated them. And then, you know, some of the stuff, like I said, is just kind of knackage, like random stuff that doesn't necessarily tie into an overall theme, which might come and go as, you know, days and weeks pass and I change my mind about what goes where. But here's a garrison blueprint table. I remember where this came from. And a random glaive. And I decided to put the fireplace over here. It's a little bit off-center, and that might upset some people. But I wanted it to be near the kind of cozy social area. So we've got like 2 two-seater sofas here and 1 3-seater sofa here, as well as like an individual little chair here. And as you can see, we've got a couple of books on the table, and we've got the other root thing, which, I don't know, I just put it there because it's something to put on a table, and there's a table here with a space for it. Also, I've got, I think this is the only painting I own so far of Suruma. Not really thematically appropriate, and I'll probably replace it sometime, but for now, hey, it makes the walls look less bare. Also, here is a bookshelf, and for those of you who have not messed with this yet, you may be interested to know these books inside, these 3 rows of books, are free individual housing items. You get these free from the Kaz Algar, I forget what they're called, but the Dornagal Dwarves, the Irvin there, whatever that faction is, you can buy these 3 separate furniture items from them. They slot in perfectly to this particular bookcase, and one of my favourite features is when you pick up the bookcase, you pick up all the books inside it as well. It just like magically knows that they want to stay in there when you want to move the bookcase around, which is really nice. Obviously they're a little 2D, but you know, it's fine. And then I've got a book on top as well. Also, I should mention all of these windows you do place you know, manually. And I don't know how I feel about like the effect of the light coming through the windows, especially since it's nighttime right now and there's no real way to kind of like indicate that. I know some people have messed around with like making fake walls and switching these around so they're see-through and having like a fake outdoor area. That's probably a little beyond me. But I do wish we had some basic settings, like change the coloration or have it change with the time of day. And at the minute, it just looks like a fake window with a blue LED inside it, but it's fine. Also, I dyed this rug purple, by the way. It's normally blue. This is the only item I've dyed so far. I am a herbalism / inscription main, so thankfully I am going to be able to make my own dyes. It's a bit of a faff, and I haven't messed around with it too much yet. Anyway, over here, we've got some more random stuff over here. We've got kind of a Moonwell looking thing, and I decided maybe the stag can drink from the Moonwell when no one's looking. We've also got, as I mentioned, that kind of bar item over here. And this is actually something I've shrunk all the way down. It's meant to be a larger thing. It's meant to be like a stasis cube kind of a thing from Shadowlands. But I thought, hey, I need something to put on this, and this could theoretically be some kind of liquid container thing. I don't know. Okay, don't question me. Over here we've got kind of a dining table-esque thing if people want to eat in here, I suppose. But it's, you know, I've got a separate room for that, which we'll get to in a minute, which is, by the way, highly unfinished. And then I've got this this kind of screen from Pandaria. There's nothing behind it. It's just to, again, make the place look less bare. I'm sorry, I chose a Pandaria item to make the place look less bare. Pandaria's full of bears. How does that work? Sorry. We've got another kind of bookshelf area over here. I really like this item. And then we've got some... They're kind of meant to be bean bags, was my idea, but they do just look like big pillows. So we've got some, if you just want to like, I don't know, chill in the corner. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna judge you. Also, I really wish they would update the night elf sitting animation. It has always bugged me. It does not look good. I'm just pressing my knees into my face. Anyway, and I've got some torches here. So yeah, that's the main entrance slash gathering slash cozy room, and that's the main interior thing that I've spent the most time on today. Oh, also there's a chandelier up there, woohoo. Now, if you will come with me, we've got a kind of like a plus block here. I'm also doing like the Bellameth customizations. Also, this is another like Druid Order Hall thing. I thought these banners could go here, why not? I decided to put this lamppost here. It's probably not going to stay here, but it reminds me of A Lion, the Witch, and a Wardrobe. Even though that's not like an indoor thing in that movie or book. It just reminds me of it, and I thought, hey, that might be neat. It's one of those things where you see it in your furniture pane and you just drag it out and you go, yeah, fuck it, why not? You can stay there for a minute. There's nothing down this way yet, but down here there is something. As an aside, I kind of want to, where possible, have a single theme remain mostly within your eyeline so that it's not... I feel like when you swap it out, like for like normal, for instance, like normal human looking ass hallway, it doesn't look good, the swap. So I might experiment more with curtains for that kind of a swap, but yeah, where possible, I would like the eyeline to remain a coherent single theme. But yeah, the only other thing I've got here, and this isn't perfect because it kind of clips through here, but the game gets a bit funky about trying to place furniture in the doorways anyway. It kind of says room doesn't exist some of the time, so you got to be careful with that. But yeah, through here. And for those of you who don't know, you're about to get absolutely shook. They added PhysX, NVIDIA PhysX, I think that's what it was called, to World of Warcraft. Bam! You can actually walk through curtains now, and they are very stiff, but let's not worry too much about that. So this is a work in progress. It's going to be a dining room area slash kitchen. I'm experimenting with partitions for the first time. I don't really know how I'm going to make the floor look like a kitchen. I might experiment with some of like the platforms and try clipping them through the floor. But yeah, this is going to be the kitchen area, and then this is going to be the dining area. I'm thinking kind of like mess hall vibes over here, and then some more like intimate dining room setting over here. It's, as you can see, extremely early work in progress, but that is the general idea. And then my general plans going forward is, I think over here I'll have a stairwell up, and then upstairs I want to work on basically like personal rooms for like some of my favorite slash most played Alliance characters. So we'll have like a Druid themed room, we'll have like a Lightforged Draenei Paladin themed room. A lot of that stuff is going to have to come as they add the assets to the game, because it is quite limited at the minute, but that's to be expected. But I mean, I was able to do all of this, and there's still plenty of furniture in my storage to place. So yeah, this has been my Alliance house. Shall we now go and visit my Horde house? And here we are in Razorwind Shores. Now, this place is gorgeous, I have got to say. I had my doubts about them being able to make, like, a worthwhile Horde area without it just being like Durotar looking ass. But no, this place is gorgeous, and for this one I'm part of the Taliesin and Evertel Patreon community neighborhood, and when I got here there were only like 4 or 5 plots remaining. But the thing about this neighborhood is most of the plots are pretty amazing. I actually had trouble choosing between that one over there and this one. And this one is what I've done with my Horde plot. Now, it might not look like it, but I've actually spent A, a lot of time, and B, the entire exterior budget on this exterior. And I've been a lot more experimental with this one, because in my Alliance house, I've mostly just been placing furniture items down and trying to create an aesthetic with like the basic tools. You know, occasionally using some of the more advanced tools for like clipping items through each other and like rotating them and stuff like that and resizing them. But this one I've decided to go full experimental, and I don't think the outcome is particularly amazing or great, but I'm mostly happy with it. So first of all, I wasn't particularly happy with the exterior options for orc houses, and I could go on a bit of a thing about this, but like for instance, you can't recolor the doors or the chimney, so that's why my house is like, I mean, I changed the roof color to brown because it doesn't clash too bad with the red, but it has to be a two-tone if you want to change the roof, which is kind of annoying. But I decided I didn't love the way the walk up to the interior of a house really looked. So these are platforms kind of clipped through the ground as close to the ground as possible without just making it grass. And then because I didn't like the sheer cut off look of the platforms ending, I decided to surround it with boulders, which I've mostly clipped through the ground to leave like a little bit of like a, you know, they're not perfectly like the platforms are, you know, straight and neat and tidy, but it's kind of more rustic to have them be a little bumpy, like leading up to the edge here. And I also, you know, again, I'm trying to stop the sheer edges from happening. This is like the edge of the build limit, so I put this rock down, and you might notice grass is clipping through it, unfortunately. It wasn't like this when I left it earlier today. I came back and it was like this, and now it's not letting me select this furniture item, or rock, I guess, to move it or fix it in any particular way. So I think placing down this little bit of this decor item this close to the boundary of my house might have bugged it out a little bit, but it's fine. It's day one. Let's not worry about it too much. Now I've gone for a similar kind of like pathway around the exterior of a house thing here. So first of all, over here, I've got this this fountain, which I really like. It's so cute, isn't it? Look at it. It's like a little fountain that's supposed to fit this area, and it's great. And I stole this idea from my neighbor in the Alliance plot, but I basically did a thing where I had the pathway go around the outside, and I put benches around the outside as well. I think it's a pretty nice look. It's like a civic look. And I noticed that I've kind of got like two pathways up to my house here, so I thought I'd better do something over here. So you get here and you can like walk around this way. I also put these cacti down, and yeah, we'll go around this way next. I've got more cactuses. Damn it, I was doing so well. I was being grammatically correct. We've got more cacti over here. We've got 1, 2, and then we've got a giant one over there because I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And then I thought I'd put a couple of benches down here. We've got some more kind of knackage over here to kind of like make the outside of my house look a little bit less default, a little bit more lived in. So there's that. I could probably clump a couple of these items more closely together so it's not too formulaic, but I like this. And then over here, this really doesn't look like much, but I spent so much time on this because this is 4 quarter circle platforms kind of clipped into the ground and shunted together. And then these are what you're seeing right here to give this kind of iron star kind of a look. These are basically V's, but they are made as big as possible, and I've had to like rotate them and gimbal them and clip them through the ground, and because again I didn't like the sheer look of just this circle. But I wanted to have like this nice little area. Like when it was just grass beneath a bench, it just looked like a nothing area. So I've worked on making this a thing. It looks a little goofy, it looks a little 2D, but I'm mostly happy with it. And then as we walk around the outside here, the last thing is we've just got a well over here. I wanted to have like a coffin back here, like maybe coming out of the ground, like with the lid half off to give the indication that something had happened back here. A little similar to the coffin at the back of my Alliance house, but unfortunately I've hit the exterior limit, and there's probably a few things I could fix up. Like there's definitely some of these I had to place individually instead of the lines because you know, I think it's over here. Yeah, these are more individual because you know, the size just doesn't align. But yeah, this is the exterior, and the interior of my orc house is literally one room at the minute. I will work on this, but I kind of like it just being one room. It's cozy. So yeah, when Blizzard announced what the main themes were going to be for the initial Alliance and Horde neighborhoods and decor options, I kind of frowned. I was like, oh, orc stuff? I don't want to live in an orc hut with orc aesthetics inside, come on. But it's not really necessarily just orc, although it is orc as hell. It's rustic, and it's extremely warm and cozy. And again, this is just one room, and I've spent far less time on this than anything else I've shown you today. But look at this place! You know, this is cute, and let's be real, this is probably what we thought the extent of our housing capabilities was going to be when Blizzard first announced housing. It's so much more than that. But, you know, it's cute. I like it. I've got a couple of chairs near the fireplace here. I've got some things adorning the walls, like this tiki mask and this carpet, I guess, a Zandalari carpet of some description. Also, I think I got this for killing, like, Moira's dad.
Me?
don't remember that bit. In that old classic dungeon, I was going through the different tabs and you can organize furniture in your like decor catalog by like expansion, and this was classic, so I think it's from that dungeon. And you can kind of tell it's low polygon, right? It's kind of cute in that way. I don't know why I put this in my orc house, but I just saw it and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Bit of knackage, like I said. I've got my kind of war chief table here. I've only just realized this is Zuldazar, right? Zandalar? Zandalar. This is a map of Zandalar. I just realized that. Got this leather looking thing here. This is the only bed I've got so far. I haven't put a bed in my alliance house yet, but again, I'm not trying to do anything. This is just in general a bit more low effort. I'll probably move things around later on, but I did relish having a smaller room to decorate. I could have made it bigger, but I decided to keep it smaller. It's a little easier. There's less empty space to try and figure out what to do with. And then let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about that. But yeah, that's about gonna do it for today. This has just been my first day with WoW's player housing. I wish I could like put my feet up on a table or something. Although I guess I would have to put them pretty high upwards. Maybe I can clip the table through the ground a bit or make it a tiny bit smaller perhaps. But anyway, you see what I mean? The housing never stops. I realized as I was playing this today, I was like, my house is never going to be finished. I'm always going to be tweaking and adjusting and changing things, and that's awesome. I was a little bit worried that housing would be kind of like and I'm done, and I'm never going to touch this feature again. But this is literally day one, and I can see so much potential. So yeah, I'm very happy that housing is a thing, and obviously, again, not the most talented person. You could probably go look up far more talented people's houses on YouTube, so thanks for checking out this one, and let me know if you want me to keep you updated on my house. I won't do it every day or anything, but maybe I'll do another house tour video when I've spent more time with it and I have more to show. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed YT Cribs, I guess. I'll catch you on whatever I make next. Oh, now there's a point. This whole outro is Final Fantasy XIV player housing. I could update this. I'll do it another time. It's already 12:30.